Yo, I'm pumped about this one because it goes like this. Every gym is full on January the 1st. You ever notice that? It's crazy. Crazy. Every vision board is inspiring on January the 1st. Every promise feels real on January 1st. But what about January 2nd? That's where most men quietly they quit, not because they're weak, but because they never built a system for who they said they wanted to become. And so today I'm going to show you exactly how real builders win when motivation dies. The best quote that I love about motivation is that motivation is like milk, it has an expiry date. So when you're not motivated, what happens? You need systems, right? We rise to the level of our vision, we fall to the level of our systems. This year will be different than last year, dads, because of your systems. That's why I created the school group. It's free to jump in, get your feet wet, start building systems with other men. Why? Because it works. It's what the most profitable companies do is build systems. That's my challenge to start with you. My name's Anthony Thompson. I'm the founder here of Divorced Dads of America. You can find us mostly on Instagram. We're reaching 6 million plus a month. And every day, my goal is to transform one more dad so that our goal is 1 million dads transformed, but not just you dads. This isn't just about you. I love you guys. I'm for you guys, but it's about impacting the next generation. It's your children. The odds are stacked against you. The statistics are disgusting against divorce and dads and your kids. I want you to defy the odds. I want you to not become the statistic. I want you to be able to do something that seems impossible to do it. And the only way to do that is to begin to do things and have systems from people that already got through it. This is part of the journey. This is the FAST system. I'm going to give you a little bit about my story. I'm going to tell you straight off the bat. I have failed in this area a lot of my life. Started awesome on January, whether it's diets or whether it's affirmations or declarations or things I was listening to or whatever it might be. You guys all know. We all start with all sorts of things. And it's exciting and it's awesome and you're pumped and all those things are great. I love them. I'm for you guys. This is not about to tear you down. You're here for a reason. You're listening to this. I'm going to tell you right now, there is no serendipitous moments. You're here for a reason, brother. So embrace it. I don't believe I'm going to tell you anything that you don't know. I believe that you're going to get a nudge, something. You're going to be like, dang, this dude he's hitting me. And it's not even me, guys. I work for the King of Kings, and he knows a lot more than I do. He knows where you need to be. He knows where you were. He knows where your kids are, and he knows where he wants your kids to be. So do I, and I'm believing that today is a marker in the ground, January the 2nd, where you start moving forward. A lot of times for me, the crash, the miss will come in a lot of ways. If you travel, dads, this just is coming to mind for me now. If you travel, it's really easy to break your systems. I had a guy that I was working with, and he simply stopped working with me because he traveled so much, and his systems continued to break, even when he was accountable to me and his systems. There was something in him where he just said, "No, I can't. It's too hard. It's too hard. It's too." And he's going to keep repeating those systems. I don't want you to do that. I want you to build a system that's repeatable, that's going to build your life and your children's life. And some of them might be a little bit different than others, but that's why we're here today. There's plenty of dads where I've had clients come on and they were great for a couple of months, and then what happens is they go back to their old systems. Why? Well, because they got comfortable. Comfortable is your silent killer. There's a few dads even right now where they're starting to make more money than they ever made before. They now have a little bit more time than they ever made before because they've cut out a lot of crap. And in the middle of cutting out of crap, they haven't filled the time or the space with the things that they needed to do. And so their mind is wandering. Idleness is the devil's playground. Wandering, a lot more options. You know, the things that were worrying them before, now that they have money, aren't worrying. Now they're spending more money and they're doing things. So we have a different system for that to be able to align them to where they want to go. The biggest point and the biggest part of all of it is that when they're accountable and they're coachable, the system is adaptable and changeable and they can get to where they want to go. You're not going to have just hockey stick growth. There's going to be some hockey stick growth, but there's also going to be some down days and some tough days. We build systems for all of it because that's what happened to me. You get on a run and then, something happens with your co-part, your ex or your co-parent or your child or something goes on and it flips the switch and you get stressed out and your brain goes crazy and then all of a sudden you start throwing in bad habits again and hanging out with bad people and watching stupid stuff and listening to things that are just making you more negative and then you go down the path. I want to give you some neuroscience data. A few things as we start 2026 that this year is the big fix for you. That's what I believe. 2026 is the big fix. 2026 is the year where you're aware to what needs to be fixed. You own what needs to be fixed. You get accountable to what needs to gets fixed. You take the action what needs to get fixed. And it sticks like it's never stuck before. I believe those of you watching right now, if you haven't gone into our school group, there's systems and frameworks exactly identifying this. Things for your mind, things for your mouth, things for your children, things for your cash flow. All these things internally rebuilt so that you can have a system for 2026 that is the big fix. That's one way to just get going. It's free. Get into our school group. Start there. Get a brotherhood. Get accountable. Start doing those things. And they're going to change your life. Another thing while I'm here and thinking about it is sometimes some dads come in and like, hey, how can I help? Or, I want to do something too. Great. Awesome. I mean, I first of all, if you're already past the stage and you're kicking butt, then the next thing is that you need to grab a dad and bring him along the journey. That is it. The greatest way to accelerate your growth is to teach somebody else. Teach somebody else. Another thing that you can do is just subscribe and leave a review on this podcast. The algorithm goes crazy and will literally send this podcast to hundreds of people simply because you do that. So you're like, hey, how do I help a dad? Leave a comment, subscribe. There'll be dads in here that will be flooded. They'll be like, what do I do? I'm in a blender. That's what you can do. Let's get into the neuroscience about New Year's and why 9 out of 10 dads fail by February. 9 out of 10. Research shows that 88 to 92% of New Year's goals fail by February. Dopamine spikes on intention, not execution, right? You get excited, the dopamine goes crazy. I'm going to be doing this. You start talking about it. The execution, you don't get the dopamine. Not as exciting. The brain resists sustained effort unless tied to identity-based routines. This is why with all the dads that I talk to and I work with, it is your identity. You literally need to have a new badge, a new ownership, under new management, under new identity. This is who I am. This is what I say. Those of you know that in our school group, I've got confession decks. I have affirmation decks about what we say about who we are. You know why? Because everybody and everything in your mind is going to tell you what you're not. It's going to tell you what you failed at. Why? Because that's how your brains are wired. Your brains have been wired to trauma. Your brains have been wired to failure. Your brains have been wired to what might be you might call abuse, or it might be another word that you use, but they are wired. What fires together wires together. So how do you change it? We got to undo the wiring. Just like an electrician, we got to take these cables apart. We got to rewire to what you want to become. That's why in the group, there's then systems and frameworks for your vision and for your mission. What the heck do you want, man? And how are you going to make sure that it's stabilized every single day of the year? 365, 24/7, no breaks, no, I skipped this week, none of that. Real intention all the time. Your brain does not obey inspiration. It obeys systems. Remember that. Your brain obeys systems. Here's a few thoughts, a few things that may be dropping in your mind like they dropped in mine. These are some of the things that would cause me to spiral. These are some of the things that I would hear and listen to and believe. And I want you to know that it's not the thought that is the issue. It's what you believe about the thought that is the issue. It's how you frame that thought. So here's one like this. Here's a thought that I would get. If I miss one day, I failed, right? If you're sort of in the high performer range and you are a consistent guru and you miss a day, you're like, shh, and then that day might turn into another day. Again, I said this before because a lot of you guys travel here and sometimes for work, you miss a day, you miss 2 days, and it gets you, man. Here's one. I need to feel motivated to act. I have some guys like, man, I need to feel motivated. Another thing that comes up, I should already be better by now. Sometimes you're so mean to yourself that you literally shoot yourself in the face, like with a gun. Literally, your self-talk is so despicable and deplorable that that's 90% of the reason why you're not doing the right things in your life. You would never. I, I'm saying this to you because there were plenty of times when I would say disgusting things to myself. Like Anthony, you are such an idiot. You're so stupid. You could never put this thing together. It's even hard repeating it now because it's so sounds so real and it is so mean. I would never say that to somebody. I would never do that. I would never. If you know me, you know that, man, I am about putting courage in people like 24/7, but then here I was literally dumping toxic everything on myself, feeling like a failure and a loser, and that's why. So I want to stop there and pause for a second. Those of you that don't have your self-talk aligned with where you're going and who you are, that's step 1. Out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. You'll hear me talk about this a lot. And it's this idea and this picture of squeezing a tube of toothpaste and what comes out? Toothpaste, like when your kids brush your teeth. They squeeze the toothpaste out into the toothbrush, toothpaste comes out. Great job. Well, when you get squeezed, what comes out? Most of the time, you'll hear it in your mouth. You'll say something. Your mind will begin to perpetuate things, especially when it's bad. When you get squeezed, when the pressure's on, oh, here we go again. Oh, here comes another. Here it goes. It's all going the other way now. Here, it's all and most of us are wired into this failure mentality because that's a lot of times where you're at. You've had like a what's called a losing streak. Well, the only way to get past a losing streak is to have a winning streak. How do you get to a winning streak? You start to talk about winning. You start to think about winning. You start to transfer that thought of Scripture says that we take every thought, we take it captive, we make it obedient to Christ. So that thought of, oh shoot, man, here we go again. It's going to be a loss. No, that's what it looks like. Get it out. Get it on a journal. Identify the thought and transform it into what should the thought be. If somebody said that on your team, oh, here we go. It's going to be another loss. What would you say to them? Hey, bro. Hey, no. Whoa. Whoa. We are on a winning streak. We are going to win. We are we're that's where we're going. So get on the bus. We're moving, we're going on a winning streak. That's how you have to activate your mind. You literally have to transform the thought just like that, as if you're talking with somebody who's trying to tear you down on your team. One, you got to transform that team member. You can't just let them just shoot their mouth off all the time. You got to transform that team member. And you got to think about, where's that thought coming from? If it's constant, maybe it is a teammate, maybe it's a family member, it's whatever. Think about where it's coming from. You're 2 to 3 times more likely to sustain change after 90 days when you have an anchor to your goal. So check this out. When you anchor your goal to values, identity, and accountability, those 3 things, value, identity, accountability, 2 to 3 times more likely to sustain change after 90 days. If we were in a room together, I said, who would like to sustain change longer than 90 days this year in 2026? Raise your hand. Boom. I mean, if you're driving right now and you got self-driving in your Tesla, put up both hands. Boom. There you go. Next 90 days, that's what you would want. So you'd say 2 to 3 times more likely. I want that. What do? Boom, what are your values? Boom, what's your identity? What's your vision? What's your mission? Who are you? I am what? I am. What's your identity? And then third, the accountability is the gateway drug. Who's accountable to your plan? Who's accountable to what you're saying with your mouth? Who's accountable to the thoughts in your mind? Who's accountable to the actions with your children? Who's accountable that you're with all those things? Who's accountable to the dark stuff, the stuff that you're hiding, the stuff that you don't want to tell nobody about, the addictions? Who are you accountable to? Freedom is about to happen once you get that stuff out. Isaiah 43:19 says this, behold, I'm doing a new thing. That's it, 2026, boys. I'm doing a new thing. Here's the truth. God creates new futures. Men must maintain new habits. This is where your habits are going to change. You're going to get them out. It's who you're becoming. It's the house that you're building. So let's play this game like this. So most of you guys, and I talk. This is kind of how I talk about my coaching a little bit. Most of you guys, you want transformation, and if you guys were looking at a house, let's say you're going to buy a house, and the best way for me to explain it is these property brother guys that go in and they shop around with houses and then they renovate them. Right? They go to these houses. They're from the 80s. Everything's gross. Bathrooms, kitchens, weird little hallways, shag carpet that's burnt, just weird stuff. Surfboards like in the kitchen and, on the East Coast, like weird things, right? Yard is bad, all sorts of stuff. And they look at it, like, what do you think? They're like, it's in your price budget. And they're like, it's gross. And then the property brothers, what they do is they hold on. Let me show you what we can do with that house. What do? They go in to their computer, they jazz it all up, they give them the open floor plan, right? The landscaping is pristine, little white picket fence. Then they go in and they got the, kitchen. They've got the wood floors, the bedrooms, the tub that they always wanted with the glass. And they're like, holy smokes. They look at that and say, yes, that's what I want. We want that. Well, the property brothers say, great. In 8 weeks, we can take this house and we can make it look like that. Is that something that would be interesting to you? They're like, yeah, we want it. Okay, let's buy the house. And then they buy this bomb house and they make it beautiful. That's your life. Most of you guys have never renovated your mind, your life, since college. You've got carpet from the 80s, mismatched drapes, wallpaper from the 94, floors, carpet's gross, backyard sucks, all of it. And I'm not saying that that's where I was. I never had somebody go through my house, and you never start to realize until you want to do something with your house. You want to sell your house. You want to make money on your house. Well, that's what we're doing now, boys. It's time for you to expand your life, upgrade your kids' lives. And now we're going to start doing that. And this is what it's going to look like. That's why these worksheets are so important, because you're the renovation of what your house is going to look like. And every single day, you're walking towards that house. So listen to this. Motivation is the spark. Systems are the engine. Identity is the fuel line. Remove any one of those three, and your rebuild will stall. Remember that. Focus, fast system, quickly. It's 2026. What man are you becoming this quarter? First quarter of 2026, what man are you becoming? What does that renovation look like in your mind, in your mouth? I got some guys that just swear like sailors and they want to do better. So we're going to get accountable to them not swearing so much and putting the right words. Why? Because they don't want their kids to swear either. There's other things. There's all sorts of things. What is your focus? Where's faith? Is faith a side project, or is faith the main dish? Is it the bone-in ribeye? Is your faith the bone-in ribeye, or is it just the little mashed potatoes on the side? You've got to be honest with yourself. What is it? What is it really? And if you're not sure, check your calendar. Check your time. Your time will tell you. Check your money. Where's your money going? That'll tell you most things in life. Where's your money? Where's your time? That's what you believe. Not what you say. It's what you are doing with your time and your money. Period. Accountability and awareness. Who sees your calendar, not just your captions, right? Who's seeing the internal stuff that's going on in your life? Thoughts that you're having, problems, issues, things with your kids, things you're dealing with. 2026 is the big fix, man. Just let it go. Get rid of it. It's time to drop it. Those of you that are having addiction issues, get out of your house. Vaping, smoking, cigars, drinking, whatever it might be. I'm not saying that's for everybody. I'm just saying you know what the thing is for you. Get rid of it. This is the year. Strategy and systems. What daily system replaces chaos with consistency? A lot of times you guys might hear me talk about, and I'll probably do an episode on this, about your 5 daily non-negotiables. Those things that you do every single day that moves you toward where you're going and toward your vision and mission. You've got to have that on speed dial. You got to know exactly where you're going. And lastly is transformation. Your kids don't need your intentions. They need execution. They need to see you. Show them what a dad is. Show them what a dad of encouragement is. Show your daughters your love. Speak life over them. Speak life over your children. Show them patience. Galatians 5, the fruits of the Spirit. Show them love, joy, peace, patience. Show them James 1, when it says, when you're under trials and tribulations, count it as joy, that the testing of your faith bringeth patience. Show them. It's going to change your life and theirs. Here's the challenge next 7 days, 2026. Wake up with structure. Move your body daily. Eliminate one numbing habit. Speak one future declaration every morning and every night, and report it to another man. Get accountable. Those of you in the school group, feel free to drop that stuff in there. Momentum is not emotional. It's mechanical. It's a system. Next 7 days, do those things. Here's the reflection questions for you. Where did I quit last year when no one was watching? What daily habit proves who I really am becoming? What would my kids see differently in me if I stayed consistent for 90 days? Those of you that are looking for these questions, you can always go in the show notes, copy and paste them, journal them, get them out. These will change your life. And again, what would my kids see differently in me if I stayed consistent for 90 days? Lastly, again, as I said before, if you haven't subscribed, you haven't reviewed, do that. The algorithm goes crazy. It helps dads, man. 1 million transformed dads is what we're going for. I believe that you are part of that. You're part of the catalyst. You're part of the solution. I think even now today, I'm talking to some dads that you are going to be grabbing and leading other dads. Get that in your head. This isn't about Anthony trying to, I can't help 1 million dads by myself, period. There's going to have to be a network. There's going to have to be national, international exposure. There's going to have to be those things. There's going to have to be chapters and all that sort of stuff that we're building out. So I'm putting it in there now, putting the seeds now. Get ready. Get ready to pull dads in. Get ready to lead them. Get ready to lead yourself. Get ready to get this stuff out of your life. So I love you guys, man. Pray for you. Here we are, 2026. Follow me on Divorced Dads of America. Let me know you're watching. Comment for any questions, concerns, what you got cooking, what's going on. Love you guys, man. See you in the next one.